Welcome, everybody. Scott Jones back with another edition of Spotlight on Addiction and Recovery. I have April Scholl with me, and I said it right.
You did.
I said it right.
Good job.
April Scholl is from the Wayside House. It's a women's addiction recovery place, but there's so much more to it, and I want to get into all that. But April, I'm glad you're here today.
I am so happy to be here.
That's great. Now, we met several times. I mean, years ago, we've been in the business together, so we met years ago. And more recently, you did one of our trainings.
Yes, I did the CEI training at the EAP conference.
Did you like it?
I loved it. It was by far the most beneficial training, and I had fun doing it. Most of the time, I really dread doing my trainings and CEUs.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun. It went by quickly, and I learned a lot. So what else do you can ask for?
Well, the last question obviously was which one was better, me or Karen, and we know it was me, so it's okay.
Of course.
Seriously, Addiction Training Center sponsors this show and many other podcasts, and if you want to become a certified event interventionist like April, certainly we have our classes online. If you want looking for a live event, you can find those as well. Go to atceducation.com. All the information's there. As a matter of fact, we're running a really good special right now. If you go to the website, you'll see it. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about is the Wayside House and April and everything you're doing in the community. And first, give me the synopsis. What is Wayside House?
So Wayside House is an all-women's program that is ran by all women as well. So we were established in 1974 by two women, and their dream for Wayside House was to be able to be an option for any women, regardless of income, regardless of insurance coverage, regardless of funding. They wanted a safe place for women to go to recover. And so that's what we've been doing for the last almost 50 years. And so now we're a residential program. We have a full 90-day residential program. Everybody gets the opportunity of that 90 days. And then we have a PHP program and an IOP program. And we really try to help women recover and heal from within. So we believe that drinking and using is a symptom, and that there's underlying or core issues or co-occurring issues that are causing us to want to drink and use. I actually am an alumni from Wayside. That's where I got sober 11 years ago.
11 years? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Now, you got sober, but you've got a background in helping people already before Wayside House, right?
Absolutely.
What leads you in that? I mean, there's a lot of things you could do. You're a beautiful woman. You're smart. You could do anything you want. Why the hell would you work in recovery?
That's a good question.
I mean, it rips your heart out every other day. We know this.
It does.
But there's also great successes. But what drives you?
I think what drives me, my grandmother was a big part of my life, and she was a social worker. And I always saw her helping people. And I lost my father and my fiance to suicide. They were both addicts and alcoholics. So I ended up putting myself through school when I got sober, and I went for social work. And I think just in my bones, I remember being a little girl and helping animals. I remember being a little girl and wanting to help my friends or my mom or my dad. And I've always wanted to really make a difference in people's lives, whatever that looked like. But when I got sober, that was something that was so incredibly powerful for me in my life. My life changed dramatically, and it continues to. And I want everybody to be able to have that gift.
Wow. So I guess there's probably been moments where you've said, I can't do this anymore, but then there's probably other moments where you say, this is why I do that. Can you share any of those with us?
Absolutely. The other day, I was taking a girlfriend to urgent care. She was sick, and I was sitting outside with my dog, just waiting on her. She didn't have a car, so I was helping her out. She was a newcomer. And so I was sitting outside, and I hear from some random girl, "Hey, April, is that you?" And I'm like, who is this person? And I was like, yeah, my name's April. Do I know you? And she was like, well, you only changed my life. And I was like, oh. I felt horrible. And then she told me that I actually was one of the first people she met in recovery, and I worked for a facility that she went to, and she said, you always took the time to make each of us feel special. We weren't a number. We weren't just another name. We weren't just another client. We weren't just another dollar sign. You knew about us and you cared about us and you made us feel special and heard. And I get that a lot. I like just out in public, I run into people, whether I recognize them or not, I've been in the field for a really long time, so it's hard for me to remember each person. And people change dramatically when they get sober too, just their appearance.
Yeah.
So that is just such a gift to me, is that not that I made this big difference, but that people really remembered what I said or what I did, took it to heart, and were able to change their lives for the better.
It's like an honor to be a part of their journey, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, we gain so much. I mean, people ask, that's why I asked the question, because some people don't understand why we would do this. I know I've got certain family members that say, why would you keep No, it's because we gain so much.
I tell them that all the time, is that I learn more from you. You're more of a gift in my life than I ever will be in yours.
Right.
Because I do. It reminds me of where I was at. It keeps me humble. It keeps me centered. And it also teaches me so much so that I can keep that and keep going and help more people. It's really not that I give so much. It's also that I get so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's great. One of the things I've always said is that how can you prioritize and make your recovery important if you don't make someone else's recovery just as important?
Absolutely.
So I have to care about the next person's recovery as much as I do my own, or else mine will have no meaning. And that's an important thing.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the Wayside House, certainly the information's on the screen, but if you want to check them out, I'm looking for the website.
It's www.waysidehouse.net. We are a nonprofit. And we do have options for every woman. Like I said, we take indigent clients. We're in network with most commercial insurances. And we also are in network with Medicaid. So we really try to make it so that we can help every person no matter what. If you're a woman.
Well, I was just going to say that. Now, I'm not sure people understand, and let's talk about this for a minute, but are there special problems that women face in recovery that someone like, the idiot guys like me might not be thinking about? I mean, do they have real specific issues that you guys address there?
Absolutely. I think that I had gone to, on a personal experience, I had gone to Coed treatment many times, but I was never able to feel comfortable sharing some of those deeper and darker traumas or just memories when men were in the room. And I think women tend to deal with a lot of sexual trauma. Men do too. And they also deal with issues that men aren't able to really understand or empathize with. And I think that it's a safe place for women to share when it's other women that have been going through similar experiences. They're not embarrassed to share. They don't change the story. They don't fluff it. They're able to do the raw truth. And for me, was the only way I was able to get sober and stay sober.
Yeah, that's been a roadblock. I noticed that with a lot of recovery centers when you're dealing with a co-ed population. And I've seen male practitioners go in and try to teach women certain things, and it's like, it's kind of not in your lane, pal. I mean,
right.
I mean, I get it. There's a lot of issues that men deal with too, that if I tried to explain it to women, and a lot of it's got to do with status and with machoism and things like that, machismo that actually is a part of our growing up.
Yeah.
Men do this and men do that, men don't cry and all those other things, and that's important. So I can see it just as important that the women are separated and do that. Besides, you don't need any of the rehab romances. Two people in the back row, relapse row, and they're falling in love and doing all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think gender-specific treatment is so important. And I think that, like you said, it allows us not to be so distracted.
Yeah.
And it really allows us to really hone in on what is preventing us from getting healthy, getting sober, healing, whatever.
It's also very healthy for women to build relationships with other women. And even guys to build relationships with other guys, because what we've got, this ingrained competition
Yes.
between us for mating and for this and for that, and to be prettier or smarter or stronger. And so to build those relationships is really important, because when you do get sober and you are in recovery, if I don't have male support, I've got a lot of female friends too, but if I don't have that male support, I'm going to be missing out on something. And I'm sure it's the same with the women.
Absolutely. I heard this old saying when I was first getting sober, and I still say it to other women. Men in the program, men will grab your ass, women will save it.
That's not all men, by the way.
Except for you, Scott. But no, it's
not anymore. I've learned my lesson.
It's just
twice.
It's so important that we have that network of women. You know, I was taught to go to all women's meetings when I was first sober. I was taught to make sure that I had a good, sober, solid network. You know, and I had a female sponsor, and who had a female sponsor, who had a female sponsor. I just think it's really important, not only that you absolutely are going to date and have male friends, but that your foundation is solid with other women. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, about the Wayside House, it's great that there's a lot of women out there that without insurance or that are on Medicare, Medicaid, and it's great to have a place to go. What kind of activities are going on there? What kind of a day would somebody have at Wayside?
Yeah, so Wayside's pretty neat. We're not a hospital-like setting. It's not like an institutionalized setting. It's an old house. We're actually in our original building, and we've updated, of course, and it looks beautiful. But it's a big house. So under that big house, you have where you're going to eat, where you're going to do your groups, where you're going to see your therapist office, your case manager's office. Everything's under one roof. You end up getting a lot more time with your therapist, and you get a lot more one-on-one time. We also have peer support specialists and everything you can think of. We do normal activities. We do have yoga. We have a great equine therapy program, so that all of our girls are able to hang out with the horses and pet the horses and learn about the horses. We also do a lot of, outings and activities. One of our cooler things, I think, is we have the Posner Center, which is right next door to Wayside, and it is a full vocational center where all of our clients are able to get set up. So we have resume building, cover letter building, we have all of the job postings in all the local areas. We have professionals from different careers and different areas come in and talk to the girls so they can kind of get an idea of what's interesting, what's not interesting. We help with grants and scholarships if they want to go back to school. And they're set up with a job or with school or whatever they are before they leave Wayside House. So they're set up for success. And we also have a Dress for Success program so that each of our clients have professional attire, multiple outfits of professional attire, all the way from jewelry to handbags to shoes, so that they're able to go on those interviews and really feel confident. And then also we have clothing and supplies for clients that do come in and don't have appropriate attire, whether their shorts are too short or they gain weight or whatever, so that they all have their daily living needs no matter what.
That's excellent. I love the equine therapy too, because, being with just the women, you can go be with the horses instead of being in Coed with all the guys, where you're surrounded by horses' asses, and that's all you get. No, that's fantastic. And it sounds to me like you're really setting yourself up as not just treatment, but as a living program, as,
life skills.
Walking out of here and not drinking and using is not enough. There has to be some quality, direction, goals. So that's a focus for you guys.
Absolutely. We want them to always be able to be connected to Wayside. A lot of our clients come back and do our alumni program, which is huge. They take the girls that are currently in residential treatment or an IOP or PHP, and they take them out to do activities. They do a lot of sponsorship stuff. But we always want them to come back. They can come back and get their medications and still see our psychiatrist, because we know psychiatrists are very expensive, sometimes, especially without insurance. And so we always want them to be able to know that they can always come to Wayside House no matter what. If they're a graduate, if they're alumni, if they're struggling, whatever it is. We want to keep that community going because it keeps us strong.
it's, you know what, it sounds like one of those places you could be really proud of everything that's going on there. It's coming, it's like beaming from you.
Yeah.
That you're so proud of what you guys are doing. And
I am honored to be a part of such a great program, and I'm honored that that's where my journey began, because
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be here if I didn't have that experience.
So tell me about some of the other people that work there. What kind of staff are we looking at here?
Oh my gosh. So our staff, I call them the powerhouses. Our staff ranges, we do a lot of trauma therapy. So we have our EMDR therapist and our trauma therapist, and we also do like psychotherapy, psychodrama, all that stuff. So everybody is very different. We're all women, and everybody's very different. We have a great LGBTQ portion that really helps women that are identifying as LGBTQ or, gay or lesbian that need extra support, being in that minority. But everybody brings to the table people that so-called do this job for the money or do this for a paycheck won't last at Wayside. They won't last, and it'll weed themselves out because everybody that works there is really passionate and really cares about what we're doing, and it's client care first and only. And then from there, everything else kind of trickles down and it works out,
Wow.
When we were doing the nonprofit thing, one thing that I learned that was really interesting is that as a nonprofit, we look at how much we spend per client. And 89 cents to every dollar goes directly to client care.
Right. So you're not just bringing in grant money and then feeding yourselves from it. Obviously, there is some things you have to keep the power on. You got to do certain things.
Right.
But you're trying to put as much dedication into the client care as possible.
Yeah.
How many people can you have at once? What size?
So we're a 28-day, 28-bed facility. Due to COVID right now, we're closer to 20 beds because we do have...
Keep some distance.
Yeah. And we do have a wing for, if they need to... If they come straight from detox, we have a wing where they have to stay until they are COVID free or they test, and we just want to make sure that everything's going safely. So far, thank God, we have had no COVID issues. So we just want to do things the right way, the safe way. Again, client care first. So we're running about 20 beds, a little less than that sometimes. But hopefully we'll be back to our full capacity.
And there's some people using the excuse that with COVID, they don't want to go into treatment right now. But the truth is, when you're doing those kind of precautions and taking care of people that way, they're actually safer in your facility than they certainly would be out in the bar or on the streets or wherever else they might be. So
couldn't have said it better myself.
So don't think that. I'm glad you brought up the LGBTQ because there's a lot of places that say we are LGBTQ friendly, but they really don't put any effort into it. So when you were talking about that, it sounds like you guys give some real concerted thought to that.
Absolutely. We have staff that are in the LGBTQ community, and not because that's a requirement from them, but it just happens that way. And we want to make sure that they have all that.
We're in South Florida. I mean, come on,
there's
a lot.
A lot of allies and a lot of resources for them when they do get out of treatment, like the Compass and some other places that they can go for resources, and we can connect them so that in their future endeavors, they not only have their support when they're with us, they'll have it when they get out as well.
Now, one of the other things I wanted to bring up was pregnancy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places. Again, there's places that say we'll take pregnant women. Some of them are prepared for that. Some are. What is your stance, and how does that work with you guys? Because I'm sure you've got a lot of people coming in who possibly are pregnant or...
Yeah, so we do take pregnant women. We are very fully staffed to take pregnant women medically and otherwise. We want to make sure that they have their own OGBYN and all that stuff. So we prefer to take them in their first and second trimesters, but that isn't always the case, right? Yeah. We have clients that come in that are in their third or their fourth, and it's not a high-risk pregnancy where they need to be in a medical facility. They're healthy otherwise. They just need that extra support. So we've been known to take them in their later trimesters as well. It's really a case-by-case.
Certainly.
But yes, we do take pregnant women, and we are qualified to take pregnant women. We also are MAT-friendly. So if somebody's coming in on Suboxone or they need Vivitrol or something like that, we are equipped to do that as well. We do like to say that there's a start date and an end date for Matt.
Yeah, which is what Matt's supposed to be, is a titration over a period of time, not 7 years.
Right, exactly.
And we've seen it, and it's sad to me, but
it is sad.
But as people are coming in, and since you are dealing with a lot of indigent population, they probably haven't had proper health care. They probably haven't taken care of themselves very well. So kind of a two-parter here. First of all, how do you address teaching them self-care? And secondly, if they do come in with some serious issues, do you have good relationships with doctors and hospitals and different things to deal with that?
Absolutely. So when we're dealing with the indigent population or otherwise, we really focus on getting them everything that the resources that are out there, we make sure that they have those. So we get them on food stamps. We get them on healthcare districts. So they have dental and medical that is paid for, that they don't have to pay a ton of money for. It gives them free services so that they can go to the dentist or go get a checkup or go to the, if they need an urgent care or something like that. We also help with the dental aspect. We make sure that we start making those appointments once they're kind of stable and able to make those appointments. We start doing them while they're in treatment. We think that's very important. When you leave treatment, you have so much going on. Everything seems very overwhelming. The last thing you want to do is make that appointment for the first time, to go to see the dentist or to go see the OBGYN or whatever it is. So we start that process as soon as possible when they come in, so that gives them a little less of that anxiety when they leave. And then on top of that, we really make sure that the self-esteem piece, right? So the self-care. One of our biggest core issues as women is self-worth. And men probably too, but I know more about women, obviously. So our self-worth is really non-existent when we come in. And so that's a huge piece when they come to Wayside. We really want them to build that self-worth, have some confidence, learn how to love themselves, and a lot of that comes from self-care. So we really teach our women to learn how to take a moment to do something for themselves each day that maybe they don't want to do, but maybe that they need to do. Sometimes that they want to do too, take a walk in the park or paint their nails or take a bath or write a gratitude list or write self-affirmation or positive affirmations. And we really teach them how to do that. So it's a daily routine. So when they do leave, it's just second nature for them.
But without that self-esteem, recovery is almost impossible, isn't that right?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
And that's for
right.
everybody. And I think sometimes that gets missed and it gets glazed over. And sometimes because there are shortcuts like medically assisted treatment and stuff where it's like, okay, they're not shaking anymore. They're showing up at group. Their eyes are open. We got them. Right. It's not enough. No. These people have to be able to look in the mirror and see what we see them in them. And they have to be able to go beyond that. Yes. I always tell people, you got to have goals, you got to have directions, or else when you get to the end of your driveway, how do you know which way to turn? You have to know what you want and where you're going. And the biggest question that I ask when I go into the treatment center, I say, what do you want? Yeah. And the big answer I get from everybody is, I want to be happy. Mm-hmm. And then I ask, what makes you happy? And they say, I don't know. Well, you're never going to get there. Yeah. So it sounds like you do a lot of things with them. Do you guys explore other things like art and music or anything else like that to try to get them to really free themselves? Absolutely.
I think that we can always do better in some areas, and I think that some of those things take time, but we definitely do have a great art therapist that does a lot of the creations, and they do God boxes and other really cool things. So I think art is such an outlet for them. Mm-hmm. We do encourage them also to, play music if they have a guitar. We do have a couple outlets there as well, but I would like to build that. I know that you're a great musician and you have a lot of knowledge there. To be able to bring those extracurricular activities for me, they're not really extracurricular. They're such a huge part of my recovery. Music. We listen to a lot of music also at Wayside. We encourage that music is playing and that they learn what they like and they really kind of discover themselves again through art, music, and other things. But I think that that is so important. It's something that really is a daily part of my life as a sober woman. I've really learned how much I do love music. I've actually learned how to dance sober. I go out dancing on the weekends and listen to live music.
No, I still don't dance. It's like, it's like the villagers are chasing me with torches. It's just no good. It's no good. I do the white man's overbite. It's just no. But I love music. I love playing. I love listening. I love being around it, and it's so freeing. Mm-hmm. Not every moment of recovery or even treatment has to be this dredge of pain and all this sorrow. Sometimes it's just scrape enough away to let some of the joy come out, and then feed that joy.
Yes.
You feed that joy through good food and good music and good friends and conversation and laughter. If I don't hear laughter, that's a problem. I like to hear laughter. I love your laugh. You got that laugh.
I do.
So I hope they encourage that there as well.
Absolutely. And I think like having a long-term residential piece, having a full 90 days in treatment is a huge piece, because for me, in 30 days or 28 days or whatever it was never enough for me to get to the point where I could even believe enough in myself that I could succeed, that I could find joy, that I could find happiness, that I could have long-term recovery. And so when I actually went through Wayside, it was longer than 90 days. I ended up being there for a really long time because I needed a lot of help.
They still haven't let her leave yet.
I'm still there. I'm one of the clients. But it's just that extended time helps each person so much.
Well, in any other circumstance in life, if you told somebody you're going to turn around 10 years of the worst habit you could ever have in 30 days, you would think that's crazy.
Yeah.
But somehow we've accepted that in the addiction world. We've accepted that in society as, you go away, you're gone 3-4 weeks, you come back, your life should be all better. No, it doesn't work that way. The truth is, it takes years to turn your training around, because the training usually that keeps us in addiction started when we were children. It didn't start when we picked up the drink or the drug. It started well before that. Yeah. So it's a lot to turn around. A lot of anger, a lot of fear, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-loathing, and all those other things. But I'm so glad you guys are doing what you do.
Me too.
You got a lot of reason to be proud. I'd love to come up and visit.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I know I'm not allowed to stay there very long because I'm a guy.
We'll kick them out shortly after.
I'll just do what guys do. I'll show up at the window with binoculars. I don't know. I'm kidding. I won't do that. Not anymore. No, the restraining orders. But no, we'll have some fun. And anything we could do to help with the music program, I could probably procure a few donated guitars for you guys or something.
Oh, that would
we'll
be
figure
great.
something out.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it's an honor to be here. It really is. Like Scott told you, I've known Scott for a long time. I've admired Scott for a long time. I went to the EEP conference, and Scott was there presenting along with Karen, and I've known Karen a long time as well. And it's just such an honor to be around like-minded people.
Yes, it's an affirmation that we're on the right path.
Absolutely.
Because the people who don't want this will fall away, but the people who really do will share it with as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're doing this. I'm glad we're doing this together. April, absolute joy to have you here. Again, check out the Wayside House, and the website was, I'm sorry?
It's okay. It's www.waysidehouse.net. And my direct line, if anybody has questions or is interested in our services, we will help you no matter if you come to Wayside or not. My phone number is 561-271-0803. And that's my direct cell. You can call or text.
All right. But for now, April, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott.
All of you, thank you very much for watching us. Make sure that if you like this show, that you share it with your friends, and of course, like our page and subscribe so you can find out when we're doing other shows. All of our content is about people getting healthy, people getting better, and certainly recovery is at the forefront of all of that. For now, I'm Scott Jones. Thanks for joining us.